Doesn't 1 second increments. Do I have to click? Oh, it's still going. We can always cut this out. Okay.
So, I'm showing you how to take apart the bow now to mount the AMS Bowfishing reel. I just gotta take off a bunch of the stuff that was on here because this was originally a hunting bow. So, let's see here. And then you're gonna need Allen wrenches for most of these. So let's try. Too small. Let's try that one. Yep, that's a fit. And you're gonna need to take out these screws because your reels will screw right into these pre-put holes on the bow. I mean, I guess you could leave it on because it's got those other holes on the front of the sight, but I just assume take it off and then you don't have to worry about it. Ooh, some of these are tight. So once you get this stuff off here, then you're going to want to take and get your plate turned off of this thing. So you just unscrew this part here, this little plastic wing nut, to get off the plate that it mounts onto. And now depending on your bow, it comes with this bag of stuff here. So depending on your bow, you may or may not need this little spacer thing here. And on this one I do. So then you just do that. And it's got all these screws in the bag here. I'm going to pick out the longer ones since I'm using the spacer. And then I'm going to try and get this thing turned in here. Don't know if it's the same size or not. Nope. Okay, there's the size. Now typically when I'm running bow fishing reels and stuff, I will turn my bow down a couple of pounds. And then, so that way it's a little bit lighter because you don't need that much poundage when you're shooting the fish. So now that I got those screws started, it was a little tricky because of this thing here, how it's fastened on this bow. Then you just tighten her down. Now don't go too much, you don't want to strip out the threads in your bow. Okay, so there's that. And then you got this little thing here, which is what your reel actually threads into with this little wing nut piece here. So you got to make sure you have that facing the appropriate direction with these grooves pointing to the outside. Then you need to take off this thing here, this other rest. Or at least I'm going to, because mine came with a better rest. So I'm going to take this one off. I'm just going to take a knife and cut this string here that connects to this, because we won't need it. I'm just gonna cut that off like that. And then if I get new strings, then it won't be a problem anymore, and it won't cause problems like that either. And now on this side here, it's got all this stuff here, which I will peel off with a knife or something, or maybe just rip it off with my fingers. But then I'm gonna take my AMS rest that it comes with. I'm gonna get it set in the appropriate orientation. And then I'm going to line up the holes with where the screw needs to go. Now, depending on where you want your rest sitting, it depends on what hole you might use on the rest itself. And I can't find my Allen wrench. There it is. So I would recommend snugging this down just a tad, and then coming back and adjusting this part here so it's straight. That looks pretty close. And then you're going to tighten up the bolt on the top of the rest as well. So now I'm going to snug that one down all the way. That's a little guy. So I'm going to try this one. That fits. So I'm going to then tighten that one down so it doesn't twist on me. And now you'll have to shoot it before you go out fishing with it, just to check how close it is to where you're actually aiming. I know a lot of people don't do that, but I would recommend just like shooting into a empty bottle or a cardboard box or something like that, just to check. So now that's mounted on there, and then you're gonna take the reel here and you're gonna slide it on. You try and line it up with the grooves and that other nut that's inset in that plastic part there. Which sometimes takes a minute to get it going. And then this little thing here, I'd say just recommend zip tying it to somewhere lower on the bow to keep your string from getting tangled up behind the little lever piece here. So you take this little deal and then zip tie it down there somewhere so the string doesn't get wrapped around your little piece here. And then how it works is your string goes out when you shoot, and then you push back on the little lever here to engage, and then you can just reel it right back up. And it's a very fast retrieve, so most of the time when you get a fish on, you have to pull it in by hand and then throw your arrow back out and then reel the line up, which I feel isn't a big deal because I'd rather fight the fish by hand anyways. But that's how you mount on the AMS Retriever Pro kit.